Okay, now we're reassembling the anchor capstan windlass. We've got the drive shaft and the motor assembly below decks. We've got the holding plate on top. You can see we've got this white bonding, a silicone sealant, not adhesive. And this is a shear pin, the drive shaft, the shear pin, and that's the hole for the key. I'm going to put the drive plate in place, and by doing that, I'm going to put some anti-seize compound on it. I'm going to slide it down. You'll see that goes into the shear pin. Slide it down the drive shaft. Rotate it. Rotate it. Okay, now it's locked in place. So that's in good. Now I'll take some more of this rubber anti-seize. I'll put it inside that keyway holder. Put a little bit on top of here. It's a rubber sealant. Then I will take the chain gypsy. This is the part that grips the chain. Now I'll put that down, and you can see that this plate goes against that plate. So slide that down. See how that fits? It slips and slides on design. And then I'll take it back out because I forgot to put the key in place. Now I'll take the key. I'll put the key right there. And again, I'll take this down, put that in place, and you can see the key is there, not touching the chain gypsy, because now I'm going to put on the cat head. This is where the rope goes, and this is a clutch plate, just like a clutch in an automobile, and that's where that key goes. That key goes right there. So before I put that together, I'll put a little bit more rubber sealant on here. And the whole purpose of the rubber sealant is so that next time if I have to take this apart, I don't have to put a welding torch on it to do it. So now you can see that it's locked in place on that key. Now I can take this, which is another clutch, and just take a little bit of rubber sealant on these threads, not too much. And I'll take this piece and screw it down. Now you can see this big gap right here. So just think of a clutch in an old pickup truck or a sports car. This is when you're in neutral, and then you take this and you screw it all the way down and you engage the clutch, just like putting it in gear. And then we've got a special tool right here, which is the clutch tool. So you can put those two pins in those two holes to tighten it down real tight, or you can loosen it up. So this way you can adjust the amount of grip that the motor is going to have either on the rope cat head or on the chain gypsy. To finish this off, we'll put this cover back on top. We'll put the screw in top of that to hold everything together. So that's done. Last thing we need to do is put the chain peeler on the forepiece of the gypsy, the chain gypsy, or the wildcat right here. And the purpose of the peeler, when the chain from the anchor comes up, wraps around the gypsy, it goes in that hole. This is to prevent it from going a 360-degree rotation around the gypsy. This peels it off and forces it to go down the hole. And I'll just take these two bolts, put them in place, and after I've got this completed, I'll go back down into the anchor locker and hook up the battery cables, and then I'll use my start button right here, so I'll test it to make sure that all the connections are solid and in working order. And then in a day or two, I'll return and bring my X-Acto knife, and I'll cut all of this white sealant out from under this faceplate, so I'll have a nice, neat installation. I'm going to take the wrench and tighten these up. And I don't know how long you think we've been doing this, but we've got about a little over 2 hours on site doing the installation, and that's Elise and myself. And if you're a do-it-yourself type of boat owner, you can figure it would take you 2.5 to 3 hours to install it. Unfortunately, you can see we've got this brand new chrome on here. When we took it out, it was fused together from all the salt water on it. I had to hire a welder with a torch, and it took him 2 hours to heat all these metal pieces up so that we could actually separate them and get them out. Then we had to pound it out with the sledgehammer. That's the reason I'm putting this rubber sealant on it. So hopefully in the next 15 years, we don't have to go through all of that aggravation just to get a checkup on the anchor capstan. Capstan, windlass is horizontal, capstan is vertical.